Hey guys, welcome back to 12 Days of Christmas, and it is day 7.
Merry
it's
Boxing
actually
Day.
After Christmas, yeah, it's Boxing Day today. So hope you guys had a good and safe and fun Christmas, and you got everything you wanted. And hopefully I get everything I want. Do you want to pass it to me?
Of course.
And different wrapping paper today. Oh, I can hear it. Sounds like
DVD?
a zombie. Imagine if it was. Is it? Oh, yes! Yes! Okay, confession.
From
Yes!
the killer. She's the killer.
Confession. At the start of the year, I saw Dean picked up a bunch of DVDs from the Haunted Bookshop, which I talked about beforehand. And I did see this one was in there. I saw like this and I was like, I know what that is. I haven't seen this film, and as you guys know, I love Silence of the Lambs, so I'm very excited to see this. It's kind of like a prequel to it, I believe. I mean, before everyone gets into it and has the whole debate about thrillers and horrors, it's not 100% a horror by any means. Oh, it says superior to Silence of the Lambs. But
We shall see.
yeah, we shall see. But I don't care. It's my 12 Days of Christmas. We do what we want here, guys, and
We'll cry if we want to.
yeah, well, this is meant to be really good, so I'm very excited. So it says FBI agent Will Graham has captured the diabolical Dr. Hannibal Lecter, nearly losing more than his mind in the process. I'm just gonna leave it there because I don't really want to read too much more into it. Obviously, this is where the Hannibal legacy of evil begins here. So, I mean, we all know Hannibal, and I'm very excited about this. I have not watched the Hannibal TV series. I know a lot of you guys in the comments are going to be asking me that. I just never got into it, and then it got cancelled, and I think a lot of people were really mad about it. So maybe I'll check it out after this. But I'm very excited for this one. So hopefully it lives up to my expectations. I'm so glad we're watching this together. Yay! Let's get it rolling. We got dinner and a show. We got our Uber Eats, and it's Nando's. So excited for tonight. Hey friends, I just finished Manhunter, the 1986 film thriller drama directed by Michael Mann. This is a adaptation of Red Dragon by Thomas Harris. I actually haven't read any of the original books that all of these are based on, and as you've seen, I hadn't seen this film, but I'm a huge fan of Silence of the Lambs. I would definitely want to start off by saying this one doesn't hit Silence of the Lambs for me, like the same mark, but I think they're obviously very different films and different styles. And as well, it's hard to say. It's one of those situations where if I had seen this before Silence of the Lambs, maybe I'd have a different opinion. But also, I think it's very important to say that with what kind of taste in film I have, I really like a 90s, 2000s kind of thrillers. Even though it's, you know, it's still halfway through the 80s, it is definitely to the core an 80s film. This one has the 80s music, the 80s dramatics. There's this part where he puts his hand on the window looking out to the city and he's like, I'm gonna get you, man. And it has the relationship, it like focuses on the relationship between the father and the son. Not saying that these aren't good aspects, they're just very 80s, and the film comes across a little bit dated because of that. Overall, the story is very interesting, and I think that it had a lot of really cool aspects to it, and it was quite disturbing in scenes. I'm not going to go too much into the plot. It's, you know, about a detective who needs to get help from Hannibal Lecter to catch a villain, a killer. So I'm not going to go too much into it in case you haven't seen it, but also obviously this is based on the book of Red Dragon, and there's a remake for this, or a readaptation. So I think a lot of you guys are pretty familiar with this, but it's kind of just like a drama crime thriller. And on that, the film was actually going to be called Red Dragon, but they went against that name because a film came out the previous year, or the same year, I'm not too sure about the release date exactly, called Year of the Dragon, and it was a complete box office failure, so they didn't want anyone to link the film, so that's why it's not called Red Dragon. Another cool fact about this film is David Lynch was originally on for directing this film, which is bizarre to me, and I would have loved to see that adaptation, and I still want to see it. I think we all vote for that. But as I was saying, this film does have some really powerful moments. There's this moment with the tiger and the blind lady, and I just think it had some really good metaphors, but it was a very disturbing film, and I think that's just Harris's writing. He makes really complex killers that really make your skin crawl, and in this one I felt so emotional about, and it is quite an emotional movie. It has the very much like emotional family values kind of going through about the guy protecting his family who's the detective, but also the emotional background of the killer in this one is really interesting. There's a lot of sexual trauma going on, and it's very intense, and the performances in it are just outstanding. There was one or two aspects that really did take me out of the film though. One being some of the 80s music, which was just like, especially at the end, there was like a sunset scene and it was a lot. The second one was the end fight scene, you know, the climax scene. And the way it's edited is very interesting. They kind of like do double shots where they like show a scene of action. I'm trying to be as vague as possible. A scene of action cut twice from different angles. And it's just a very 80s thing to do. And it's a way to really show off the special effects and, you know, explosions and things like that. I don't find it to be very realistic and it's not like, it's a stylistic choice and it's not my favorite choice. I don't watch a lot of action movies, so I'm not really one for that kind of cinematography. So, or editing, I guess, as well. So I was, a little bit taken back by that. And the music in that scene very much like fits in, like the beat fits in with what's happening. And it just makes it, not like it's bad, it just makes it so much more aware that you're watching a movie, and it just really takes it out of the seriousness of the situation for me. Overall, I think William Peterson did really well as the detective, especially there's one situation where he talks to his son in a grocery store, and I thought that was a really interesting scene, and I think that it was very powerful, and I really liked the way he portrayed the character in that moment. And Francis Dolarhyde did amazing as the killer, but Brian Cox, I don't think he's a bad Lecter by any means. It's just so hard to see him after Hopkins in this iconic role, and it's definitely because I've watched them, you know, back to front or like different adaptations at different times, and I think it's one of those cases if you see something first, you probably think one thing. I would love to know if someone has seen Manhunter before they saw, you know, the Silence of the Lambs series, and let me know like which one worked better for you as Lecter. But for me, I can't get past it. But this is the only adaptation of any of these, you know, realm of stories that just shows Lecter in his cell, and he doesn't actually leave the cell in any part of the film. He's actually only in like 3 scenes. He's not in the film much at all, which I was kind of disappointed about because I was really excited to see like a different version of him. So it was very interesting to see it. Don't get me wrong, it was just a little bit different when you're so accustomed to a certain movie. And Silence of the Lambs, I mean, I think I have it right up here, right? Silence of the Lambs is one of my favorite movies of all time. Well, it's one of the best films, I think. I think that it's one of the most perfect movies that nothing can be cut out of it, and for that I have like the VHS sitting up here. Big fan of it. So yes, and you might be asking, if I'm such a big fan of it, why haven't I seen any of these, read the books, It's just, I'm just being honest with you guys. I like that movie a lot, and sometimes, you know, you put something on a pedestal, and then you just like put it on your watch list, and you put it, you know, in this kind of category where you're gonna watch it one time and you're just gonna be in such a zen mood and enjoy it, and like, yeah, you're gonna have such a good experience. And then, you know, when you come home on Friday afternoon and you want to watch something, easy going, and then it ends up on that list forever. I know a lot of you guys have those films that are like these holy grail amazing films that you can't believe exist, and you just leave them on that list for a long time because you just don't feel like it's the right moment yet, and I feel like I did that with this film. In saying that, I feel like this is a kick in my ass to actually get along and read the books. Then I do want to watch the series, the newer series again, and I might even watch the Hannibal series. Anyway, sorry guys, such a random rant there, but I think you guys enjoyed the conversation that goes along with these films, so I hope you enjoy that. I'm gonna give this one a 7 out of 10. Really enjoyed it, just a little bit too 80s for me, and I can't bump it up to an 8. I like the story, I just didn't love the stylization of the film. And if you guys missed yesterday's, check it out here. We've still got a couple of days to go, guys. Still hanging in there strong. I hope you guys enjoyed today's. Let me know what you think, and yeah, your thoughts on all of the Hannibals. You know, I'd love to know. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, and stay spooky. Bye!